Lyra sat on the edge of the glowing cliff, her small hands gripping the smooth, warm stone. The twin moons of Virelia hung low in the sky, casting silver light across the bioluminescent forest below. Every leaf shimmered like it held its own tiny star. She loved this view, especially at night. But tonight her heart was heavier than usual. She had been waiting for years since her parents had left on a mission across the galaxy. Every day Lyra imagined them returning in their sleek ship, smiling and telling stories about distant stars. But each day, nothing came. "Lyra, dinner is ready," her grandmother's voice called from the small home behind her. "I'm coming." "Nana," Lyra said softly, not moving at first. She looked at the sky again, hoping for a glimpse of a familiar ship. Even though her parents were officially considered missing, she could not let herself believe they were gone. Her grandparents, old but wise, often spoke gently to her. "They went on a long journey, little one. We have to trust the stars." But Lyra knew better. She had to wait. She had to hope. The village around her was quiet at this hour. Most families were inside their homes, cooking strange-smelling meals or telling stories around fire-glowing plants. Lyra's home was small, but cozy, decorated with plants that glowed faintly in the dark. Her parents had loved these plants. She could almost imagine their laughter as they placed each one carefully on the windowsill. After eating, Lyra wandered to the edge of the forest again. She loved exploring, even if it was sometimes dangerous. The forest was alive. Trees moved, slightly, their long roots wriggling like snakes. Tiny creatures with wings of light darted between branches. The forest was beautiful, but unpredictable. Her parents had taught her to respect it. Lyra stopped when she noticed something unusual, a soft pulsing light far in the distance near the old landing fields. It blinked irregularly, almost like a signal. Her heart skipped a beat. She rubbed her eyes, thinking it was a trick of the forest glow. But no, there it was again. "Could it be them?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. She wanted so badly to believe it. Maybe her parents were trying to send her a message after all these years. Her grandmother noticed her hesitation when she returned home. "Lyra, what's wrong?" I think I saw a light," Lyra said. "It was far away, near the landing fields." Her grandmother frowned slightly, though her eyes were kind. "Old landing fields, child. Those lights are usually just sensors left behind. Nothing more." Lyra nodded but did not believe her. Her parents had taught her to notice small signs, to trust her instincts, and her instincts were telling her something important was happening. That night, Lyra could not sleep. She lay in her bed staring at the ceiling of her small room, decorated with maps of distant galaxies her parents had drawn for her. Her fingers traced the lines of planets and stars she had never visited. She imagined her parents flying across those stars, encountering worlds she could only dream about. Suddenly, a low hum reached her ears. It was faint, almost like a whisper. Lyra jumped out of bed, her heart racing. She ran to her window and looked up at the sky. The source was moving fast, a small shining object descending from orbit. Lyra gasped. It was no normal ship she had seen before. Its hull was sleek and curved in ways she had never imagined. The lights on it blinked in colors she did not have names for. Her parents' ship had been different, but this was human technology. Humans. She had heard about them from stories in the village. Rare travelers, explorers, and sometimes traders who came from distant galaxies. No human had visited Virelia for decades, and now here one was, right above her village. Lyra's mind raced. Could they know something about her parents? Could they help her? She had no time to think. The ship's glow intensified and a soft beam of light swept across the village. Her heart pounded. Without thinking, she grabbed a small satchel, stuffed it with a few essentials, water, a small snack, and a picture of her parents, and ran toward the landing fields. Her grandparents would scold her if they saw, but she could not wait. Not tonight. The forest was alive with strange sounds as she ran. Creatures scuttled across the ground, and glowing plants swayed as if whispering secrets. Lyra felt both fear and excitement. She had never gone this far at night alone. But something inside told her she had to keep going. When she reached the clearing, the human ship had landed. Smoke and light swirled around it as its doors opened. A figure emerged, a tall being with strange, pale skin and dark eyes. Lyra froze. The human looked ordinary, yet extraordinary. Something about him seemed kind. "Hello?" the human called softly, raising a hand in greeting. His voice was calm, almost musical. Lyra stepped forward cautiously. Are you from the stars?" she asked. "I am," he said. "My name is Captain Jonas. I come in peace. I saw signals from this planet. Signals that might help someone important." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. How did he know about her parents? She wanted to ask, but words caught in her throat. The human stepped closer. He carried a small device that pulsed with soft light. "We can talk safely inside," he said. "I think you have been waiting a long time." For the first time in years, Lyra felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, help had come. The human gestured to the ship. It was massive inside, larger than any building she had ever seen. Lights glowed along walls and strange symbols moved across screens. Lyra felt dizzy with wonder. Who are you looking for?" Captain Jonas asked gently. "My parents," Lyra said, her voice trembling. "They disappeared years ago. No one will help me find them." Jonas nodded slowly. "I believe we can help, but first, I need to understand what happened. Can you tell me everything you know?" Lyra took a deep breath and began to speak. She told him about the day her parents left, the years of waiting, the strange lights and the hope that never died. Jonas listened carefully, never interrupting, nodding as if he understood every feeling. Hours passed, and the night deepened. Lyra realized she felt safe, even in this strange ship with a stranger from another galaxy. For the first time, the weight of years of waiting seemed lighter. Jonas finally spoke. "Lyra, the galaxy is vast and many things are hidden. But humans, we are good at finding things that seem lost forever. And I think your parents are not gone. Not yet." Lyra's eyes widened. Could it be true? Could someone from another world really help her? The thought was almost too wonderful to believe. She looked out the ship's window as dawn began to touch the horizon. The forest glowed faintly in the morning light. For years, she had waited alone. But now, with a human at her side, she felt that maybe the waiting was about to end. The first light of Virelia's twin suns bathed the forest in gold and silver as Lyra walked cautiously alongside Captain Jonas. She could not stop staring at the human ship, its metallic surface gleaming like a strange crystal among the trees. Her heart raced with excitement and fear. "I still can't believe you're real," Lyra whispered. "I've only heard stories about humans." Jonas smiled. "Stories are usually better than reality, I hope. But we're real enough. And right now, we might be able to find your parents." Lyra's eyes widened. "You think they're still alive?" "I don't know yet," Jonas admitted, "but we won't know until we try. That's the first step." The village lay ahead, small and peaceful. Smoke curled from chimneys, and the faint glow of bioluminescent plants gave the streets a magical look. Yet, Lyra felt uneasy. Many villagers still saw humans as dangerous. Humans rarely visited this sector of the galaxy. Some considered them spies or thieves. Others had long forgotten their curiosity. Jonas noticed her tension. "I understand if you're worried," he said. "Humans do look strange to many alien species. But you'll see, we're more about exploration than conflict." Lyra nodded. "I hope so. But the villagers, they may not understand." They walked through the forest carefully, avoiding the main paths. Lyra pointed to the landing fields overgrown with vines and moss. My parents' ship, it came from there, but the authorities say it was lost forever. Jonas knelt, examining the ground. Lost forever doesn't always mean gone forever. Sometimes it just means no one looked closely enough. Lyra's stomach tightened with hope. Could it be that simple? Could her parents really still be out there? Suddenly, a rustling sound made them stop. A small, glowing creature darted past, leaving a trail of light behind it. Lyra laughed softly. "It's just a forest sprite," she said. "They like to play tricks on travelers." Jonas chuckled. "I think I've seen worse. But let's stay focused." When they reached the clearing near the old landing fields, Jonas paused. His eyes scanned the sky. "There's something unusual," he said. "I'm detecting an energy signature nearby. It's weak, but it's there." Lyra's heart skipped a beat. "Could it be my parents' ship?" she asked. Jonas shook his head slowly. "Not exactly, but it could be related. Come with me." He led her to a small clearing where the trees parted just enough to see the ruins of an old communications array. The tall, twisted metal towers looked abandoned, but faint lights blinked along their sides. Jonas crouched beside the console, pressing buttons and adjusting dials. "Humans are good at fixing things," Lyra whispered. She watched as light and sound came to life on the console. Patterns formed, and then a holographic map appeared. Strange symbols and lines connected different points in the galaxy. One of the points pulsed softly. "That's it," Jonas said, pointing. "It's weak, but it's a signal. Someone, or something, is trying to send a message. It may be old, but it's still active." Lyra felt a rush of hope. Could it be her parents trying to call her? Her heart raced faster than ever. "We can follow this," Jonas continued. "But we'll need to be careful. The signal may be protected or monitored. We don't know what dangers await." Lyra nodded. "I'm ready. I've waited too long to stop now." As they prepared to leave, a shadow moved in the distance. Villagers had begun to notice the human ship and were approaching, their faces showing fear and curiosity. One of them, an elder named Tirak, stepped forward. "Lyra, what are you doing with that human?" he demanded. "Do you know what they've done in other sectors? They destroy." Lyra stood tall even though her voice shook. "He's not here to destroy. He wants to help me find my parents. He can help us understand what really happened." Tirak frowned, looking at Jonas with suspicion. "And you expect us to trust you? Why should we?" Jonas stepped forward, hands raised. "I understand your fear. Humans are strangers. But I promise, my goal is only to help. I seek no harm to your village or your people." The villagers murmured among themselves. Some were hesitant, others clearly afraid. But Lyra's determination shone. "Please, you don't understand. I've waited years, and now I finally have a chance to know the truth." Tirak studied her for a long moment. Finally, he sighed. "Very well, Lyra. But if anything happens, we will hold you accountable." Lyra nodded, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you, Tirak. I won't let you down." With the villagers reluctantly agreeing, Lyra and Jonas returned to the human ship. Its doors opened smoothly, and the interior was larger than she had remembered. Screens, blinking lights, and strange instruments filled the space. Lyra felt a thrill. She had never seen anything like this before. As she explored, she noticed something that made her gasp. Maps of stars and galaxies covered walls and screens. Some of the symbols looked familiar, like her parents' handwriting. Did my parents make this?" she asked, pointing. Jonas shook his head. "Not exactly, but these charts are similar to the navigation systems they used. It's possible their technology left traces here, or it could be a coincidence. Either way, it's a lead." Lyra's mind raced. "We have to follow it. We have to know what happened to them." Jonas nodded. "Yes, but we need to prepare. Space is dangerous, especially when searching for lost ships. There could be hostile creatures, Abandoned colonies or worse. Lyra clenched her fists. She did not care. She had spent years waiting, hoping, dreaming. She would face anything to find her parents. As the ship lifted off the planet, Lyra pressed her hands to the glass, watching Virelia shrink below her. The forests, the villages, the glowing cliffs, they all faded into the distance. She felt a mixture of sadness and excitement. This was the first step in a journey she had only imagined in dreams. Hours passed as they traveled through the upper atmosphere. Jonas explained the controls and instruments, letting Lyra watch and sometimes assist. She marveled at the human ways of doing things, simple, clever, and often faster than the alien technology she knew. Finally, Jonas pointed to the map. "Here is where the signal is strongest," he said. "We don't know what we'll find. It could be debris or it could be something living. Either way, we'll need to land carefully." Lyra felt her pulse quicken. "I'm ready," she said. As the ship approached a distant, uncharted planet, a new set of problems emerged. The surface was covered in jagged rocks and glowing crystals. Winds swept across the land, and strange, shadowy creatures moved just beyond the visible light. Jonas studied the readings. "Landing will be tricky, but I think we can do it. We need to be precise or the terrain could damage the ship." Lyra nodded, gripping the edge of her seat. She felt both fear and excitement. This was what she had been waiting for, an adventure that could finally answer the question that had haunted her for years. Where are my parents? The ship descended slowly, engines humming. As they touched the surface, Lyra saw movement in the shadows. Her heart pounded. Were these creatures hostile? Would they be able to survive the night? Jonas placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Don't worry, Lyra. Humans face dangers all the time. We find a way through and we don't give up." Lyra took a deep breath, feeling a spark of courage. With Jonas by her side, she believed they could face anything. Together, they would follow the signal and uncover the truth about her parents, no matter how far it led, no matter what dangers awaited. The small human ship glided across the uncharted planet's jagged terrain, its engines humming softly. Lyra's eyes were wide with wonder and fear. Shadows moved among the glowing crystals, twisting in strange, unpredictable ways. She held tightly to the railing as Captain Jonas carefully guided the vessel through narrow passes. "This terrain is tricky," Jonas said calmly, "but humans are good at problem-solving under pressure. We'll make it." Lyra nodded, trying to steady her racing heart. She had faced many dangers on Virelia, forests that moved, creatures that could sting with glowing poison, but nothing like this. Here, the air felt alive with energy, strange and unfamiliar. As they moved, Lyra noticed a faint light flickering ahead. "Do you see that?" she asked, pointing. Jonas leaned forward, adjusting the ship's sensors. "Yes, that's the source of the signal. It's weak, but it's definitely there." Lyra's pulse quickened. Could it finally be her parents? After years of waiting, she felt that hope was finally within reach. The ship descended carefully toward the glowing light. As they approached, the terrain became rougher. Jagged crystal spikes jutted up from the ground and dark shadows moved between them. Jonas guided the ship with skill, weaving between obstacles. Lyra watched, amazed at how he could anticipate the dangers even before they appeared. Finally, they landed in a small clearing. The light came from a device partially buried in the rocky ground. It pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. Lyra ran forward, her hands shaking as she picked it up. It's a signal beacon," she whispered. "Just like the one my parents used." Jonas examined the device. "It's old, but functional. Whoever placed this wanted someone to find them. Maybe your parents, maybe someone else. Either way, it's a clue." Lyra's excitement turned to determination. "Then we follow it. We have to." They lifted off again, following the beacon's faint pulses through the planet's atmosphere. The journey was long and dangerous. Storms of glowing dust swirled around them, and strange creatures swooped through the air, Lyra gripped her seat, feeling both fear and exhilaration. Jonas glanced at her. Humans face danger every day. We don't give up, and neither should you. Lyra nodded, feeling a surge of courage. Humans were different from anyone she had ever met. They did not just rely on strength or technology, they used creativity, persistence, and courage. Watching Jonas navigate the storms, she realized that this human might hold the key to finding her parents. Hours later, they emerged from the planet's atmosphere into the blackness of space. Stars stretched infinitely in all directions, some glowing brighter than Lyra had ever seen. The signal beacon now pointed toward a distant, uncharted sector. "This is deep space," Jonas said. "No one maps this area. There could be abandoned colonies, hostile species, or nothing at all." Lyra's hands clenched. "I don't care. We have to try." They followed the signal for days, drifting past asteroid fields and abandoned space stations. Some stations were intact, with lights flickering on panels. Others were little more than metal skeletons floating silently in the void. Lyra felt both awe and sadness. How many travelers had come here only to vanish? One day, they entered a dense asteroid belt. Rocks of all sizes hurtled past them at impossible speeds. Lyra's stomach churned as the ship weaved between them. "Hold on!" Jonas shouted, adjusting the engines. "We need to go through the center. It's narrower but safer." Lyra gripped the railing, her heart pounding. Dust and rocks splintered across the ship's hull as they sped forward. A massive asteroid loomed ahead, and she gasped. Jonas maneuvered with precision, and the ship slipped past by inches. Lyra's knees shook. "Humans are amazing," she breathed. "I've never seen anyone do that." Jonas smiled faintly. "Experience. And sometimes a bit of luck." After the asteroid field, the signal grew stronger. They approached a derelict colony floating silently in the void. Panels flickered weakly, and broken doors swung slowly in the artificial wind. Lyra's heart raced. Could this be it? They docked, carefully, and Lyra stepped out, her feet echoing on the metal floor. The colony was abandoned but strangely intact. Strange alien scripts marked doors and walls, but nothing moved. Jonas examined a console. "The signal is coming from below. Dex, let's go." They descended into the lower levels. The air was thick and cold, and Lyra shivered. Shadows stretched across walls, making shapes that seemed alive. She held tightly to Jonas as they walked. Finally, they reached a small room. A ship, broken and half buried in metal debris, pulsed faintly. Lyra's eyes widened. The hull was scratched and scarred, but it was unmistakably her parents' ship. "They're here," Lyra whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "They're alive." Jonas nodded. "The ship's systems are damaged, but life support is still active. We need to get inside carefully." Lyra examined the entry hatch. It was jammed, metal twisted and bent. She touched it gently. I think we can open it," she said. Jonas stepped back, letting her try. Using a combination of her parents' old tools and Jonas' technology, Lyra worked carefully. Sparks flew, metal groaned, but finally the hatch opened. Inside, the ship was dark and silent except for faint life support beeps. Lyra's heart raced as she searched the cabin. Then she saw them, her parents, unconscious but alive, strapped into their seats. "Mom." "Dad!" Lyra cried, running forward. Jonas helped her release the straps. Lyra pressed buttons and toggles her parents had used, reviving the life support fully. Slowly, her parents' eyes opened. "Lyra!" her mother whispered, voice weak, but filled with love. "You came. You found us." "I never stopped waiting," Lyra said, tears streaming. "I knew you were out there, and a human helped me." She turned to Jonas, who smiled gently, her father's eyes focused on Jonas. "A human?" he asked weakly. "We never expected help from another world." Jonas shook his head. "I just helped the girl. She had the courage and hope to keep searching." That's what really matters. Lyra's parents tried to stand, but the journey and injuries had weakened them. Jonas helped them carefully, using his technology to stabilize their health. Lyra felt a mix of relief, awe, and gratitude. After all these years, they were alive and safe, at least for now. As they prepared to leave the derelict colony, alarms suddenly blared. Sensors detected movement outside, hostile creatures drawn by the energy of the ships. Shadows moved quickly along the walls of the colony. "Get to the ship," Jonas shouted. "We have no time." Lyra grabbed her parents' hands. Together they ran, dodging debris and falling panels. Jonas worked the controls, activating shields and engines. The human ship lifted off just as creatures reached the outer deck. Lyra watched in awe as Jonas navigated through the chaos. Bullets and energy blasts from unknown weapons zipped past, but the human ship moved with precision, avoiding every attack. It was as if the ship itself was alive. Finally, they broke free from the colony. The hostile creatures could not follow, trapped inside the collapsing station. Lyra collapsed into her seat, exhausted and shaking. Her mother held her hand. "Lyra, you were brave. You never gave up." Her father nodded. "And this human, he changed everything. He brought hope when we thought all was lost." Lyra smiled at Jonas. "You really are amazing," she said. "I never thought a human could do something like this." Jonas chuckled. "Humans are clever that way, but it's not just me. It's you too. Your courage, your hope. That's what really made this possible." Lyra felt her chest swell with pride. For years she had waited. For years she had hoped. And now, thanks to her determination and a human who believed in her, they had found her parents. As the ship sailed back into the stars, Lyra looked out at the endless galaxy. She realized something important. The universe was vast, dangerous and full of mysteries, but with courage, hope, and allies, even the impossible could be achieved. The human ship soared through the dark emptiness of space, carrying Lyra and her parents. The stars stretched infinitely around them, beautiful and cold, but the warmth of being together again brought hope to Lyra's heart. For a brief moment, everything seemed perfect. "We've found them," her mother said softly, her voice still weak but full of relief. "Thanks to you, Lyra." Lyra shook her head. "No, thanks to Jonas, too. He helped me find you." Her father smiled, squeezing Jonas's hand. "A human who believes in hope and courage. I never thought I'd meet one up close." Jonas waved modestly. "I just helped. Lyra's determination is what made it possible. I'm just the guide." For a few days they rested and regained strength. Jonas monitored the ship's systems while Lyra's parents recovered. They spoke little, focusing on the repairs, but Lyra's mind was elsewhere. She could not stop thinking about the beacon that had led them here. The signal was still faint but active. Something, or someone, was trying to communicate further. "Jonas," Lyra asked, "the signal, it's stronger now. Do you think it's leading somewhere else?" Jonas adjusted the controls. "Yes, it seems to be coming from a specific location, a station orbiting a dying star. It's dangerous, but that's where it points." Lyra's heart sank. The station had long been considered lost. Many had tried to explore it and failed. But the signal pulsing from it, like a heartbeat, called to her. She knew she had to go. Her parents hesitated. "Lyra, it's dangerous," her mother warned. "The star's energy is unstable. We might not survive." Lyra shook her head firmly. "I can't stop now. We're so close. If we don't try, we'll never know the truth." "Jonas, can you take us there?" Jonas nodded. "We'll do it together. Humans don't give up easily. And neither do you, Lyra." The journey to the dying star was tense. The light from the star grew brighter as they approached, its energy waves crackling across their instruments. Radiation levels were high and the ship's shield strained against the pressure. "This is it," Jonas said, scanning the signal. "The station is just ahead. Keep calm." We'll need to be precise. Lyra's fingers clenched the edge of her seat. Her parents held her hands, offering comfort. "We trust you," her father said quietly. As they approached the station, it became clear how perilous it was. The station's hull was cracked and scarred from years of neglect. Solar flares from the dying star sent waves of energy across the metal surface, causing panels to flicker and sparks to fly. Lyra swallowed her fear. "We can do this. We have to." Jonas guided the ship carefully, weaving through debris and unstable energy waves. Every second was critical. A single mistake could send them crashing into the station, or worse. Finally, they docked on the outer rim. The station was eerily quiet, with only the faint hum of old systems and the pulsing signal guiding them inside. Lyra led the way, her parents following closely. Jonas carried a portable shield generator to protect them from unstable energy bursts. The corridors of the station were dark and twisted. Panels hung from the ceiling, and strange machinery creaked under the star's radiation. Shadows stretched across walls, making even the familiar shapes look threatening. Lyra's heart raced, but she felt stronger with Jonas and her parents beside her. Following the beacon, they reached a heavily damaged chamber. Inside, 2 figures lay on the floor, trapped in containment fields. Lyra's breath caught. Her parents recognized them immediately. "It's them," Lyra whispered. "They're alive." Jonas studied the containment system. "The energy here is unstable, but we can disable the fields. I need to time it carefully." Lyra watched as Jonas worked quickly, his hands moving over controls, with skill and precision. Sparks flew, alarms buzzed, but his focus never wavered. Finally, the containment fields flickered and died. Lyra rushed forward, embracing her parents. "We found you. You're safe now." Her parents struggled to stand, weakened by years of isolation and energy exposure. Lyra helped them, holding them steady. Jonas scanned the area. "We need to move. The star's energy is building. This station won't last much longer." The group made their way toward the exit, navigating narrow corridors and dodging falling debris. Panels sparked and twisted, and the hum of failing systems filled the air. Lyra felt panic rise, but she pushed it aside. Courage, hope, and determination guided her every step. Suddenly, a section of the corridor collapsed behind them. Dust and sparks filled the air. Lyra's mother gasped, but Jonas extended the shield generator just in time, deflecting falling metal pieces. "Keep moving," Jonas shouted. "We're almost there." They reached the outer dock, where the human ship waited. Lyra's parents climbed aboard with her help. Jonas sealed the airlock and activated the engines. The station groaned behind them, a final, terrifying roar as solar flares engulfed its surface. Lyra looked back, her heart pounding. The place that had held her parents captive for years was gone, but they were alive. Her parents collapsed into their seats, exhausted but safe. Lyra held their hands, tears streaming. "I never gave up," she whispered. Her father smiled faintly. "And that made all the difference. You saved us." Jonas adjusted the ship's course away from the dying star. "We're not out of danger yet, but we made it. Humans always find a way, and you never stopped believing." Lyra's mother looked at Jonas with gratitude. "I underestimated humans. Your courage, your ingenuity. You changed everything for us." Jonas shrugged modestly. "I only guided. The real hero is this girl." He nodded at Lyra, whose cheeks burned with pride. As the ship sailed away, the dying star flared one final time, sending waves of energy that illuminated the vast galaxy. Lyra stared out at the endless stars, feeling hope and wonder like never before. For years she had waited, hoping for a miracle, and now, a human had helped her make that miracle real. She realized something important. The universe was dangerous, vast, and unpredictable, but with courage, cleverness, and unwavering hope, even the impossible could be achieved. Lyra looked at her parents, who smiled weakly but lovingly. She looked at Jonas, who gave her an encouraging nod, and she knew, deep in her heart, that this was only the beginning. The stars were endless, full of mysteries, adventures, and possibilities. And with humans and her own courage, Lyra knew she could face them all. The journey had revealed more than the truth about her parents. It had shown her the power of hope, determination, and the remarkable ingenuity that humans brought to the universe. The human ship sailed smoothly through the endless darkness of space, carrying Lyra and her parents safely away from the dying star. For the first time in years, the young alien girl felt peace. Her parents were alive, and together, they were heading home. Her mother looked at Lyra with tears in her eyes. "I cannot believe it. You never stopped hoping. You never stopped believing in us." Lyra shook her head. I knew someone would help. And Jonas did. He helped me find you." Her father smiled faintly. "A human who would help an alien girl in a universe that is dangerous and uncaring. I underestimated your kind." Jonas chuckled softly. "Humans are complicated. We are not perfect. But when we see hope, we try. And Lyra's courage made it possible. I just followed along." Lyra smiled at him. She had learned so much from this human, not just about bravery, but about ingenuity, persistence, and compassion. Humans had a way of looking at impossible problems and finding solutions. The journey home was long. They passed through asteroid belts, silent planets, and ancient space stations. Lyra marveled at the beauty of the galaxy. Stars shone in colors she had never imagined. Nebulae glowed like clouds of fire and ice. For years she had only dreamed of traveling among the stars. Now she was living it. Along the way, Jonas taught her small things about navigating the ship, using sensors, and understanding signals. Lyra discovered that humans had a unique way of solving problems, often thinking outside the rules that aliens followed. She tried to imagine how her parents' ship would have managed the journey on its own. It would have taken far longer, or perhaps been lost entirely. One day as they passed a quiet, starless sector, Lyra's mother asked, "Do you think anyone will believe our story? That a human helped find us?" Her father nodded. "Humans are rare in this galaxy. Many will doubt it. But those who understand courage and hope will believe." Lyra looked out at the stars and whispered, "It doesn't matter if they believe. What matters is that we're alive, and together." Days later, the ship finally approached Virelia. From space, the planet looked even more beautiful than Lyra remembered. Forests glowed faintly, villages shimmered under the twin suns, and the cliffs sparkled like jewels. Lyra felt a wave of emotion. This was home. But now, home felt different. Everything had changed. The villagers had gathered, wary but curious. News had spread of the human ship and the daring journey, and many had come to watch. Lyra's grandparents were at the front, worry etched on their faces. When the ship landed, Lyra ran forward, her parents following closely. The villagers stared in awe at the human technology and at the people who had returned alive after years of being lost. "Lyra," her grandmother cried, rushing forward. She hugged Lyra tightly. "You've grown so brave, child." Lyra smiled, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I had to be brave. For them, and for all of us." Her parents embraced her, holding her tightly. "We cannot thank you enough," her mother said softly. "You risked everything to find us." The villagers murmured among themselves, astonished. Many had long given up hope that Lyra's parents were alive. To see them returned, thanks to a human, changed their understanding of the universe. Jonas stepped forward, slightly embarrassed by the attention. "I only helped guide," he said. "The real hero is this girl." Lyra blushed, but she knew he was right. Without his knowledge and courage, the journey would have been impossible. And without her determination, hope would have faded long ago. The village elders approached, including Tirak. "Lyra," he said solemnly, "your courage has changed how we see the galaxy. You have shown us that hope and determination can overcome even the most impossible odds." Lyra nodded. "I just never gave up. And we were lucky to have help." Word spread quickly across Virelia about what had happened. The story of the human and the alien girl who rescued lost travelers inspired many. Humans had often been considered distant and unpredictable, but now they were seen as problem solvers, brave explorers and allies. Lyra realized that her journey had changed more than her family. It had changed the way her world viewed the universe. In the following weeks, Lyra's parents shared their experiences of the lost station and the dangers they had faced. Villagers listened in awe, asking questions about distant galaxies and the strange phenomena they had encountered. Lyra and Jonas worked together to repair her parents' ship, using a combination of human technology and Virelian ingenuity. Lyra found herself learning more and more about humans. Their way of thinking, creative, fearless, adaptable, amazed her. Jonas taught her small tricks for navigating space, repairing equipment, and thinking logically in crises. She realized that humans were special, not because of strength but because of how they approached problems. One evening, as the twin suns set and the bioluminescent forest glowed softly below, Lyra stood outside, looking at the stars. Jonas joined her. "You've changed a lot in a short time," he said. "You've grown braver, smarter, stronger." Lyra smiled. "I learned from you. Humans have a way of seeing possibilities where others see danger. You've shown me that hope is powerful." Jonas nodded. "It is. And remember, the universe is vast. There are more mysteries, more adventures, more opportunities to help and explore. Don't ever stop believing." Lyra turned to him, eyes shining. "I won't, and I want to keep exploring. Maybe even help others the way you helped me." Her parents, standing nearby, smiled. "We're proud of you, Lyra. You've always been brave, but now you understand what it means to lead and inspire." Over the following months, Lyra and Jonas worked together to rebuild the lost station's records and repair old navigation systems. They shared stories and knowledge, teaching the villagers and other travelers about the universe. Humans were no longer distant strangers. They became partners and friends. Lyra often thought about the long years she had waited. The loneliness, the hope, and the dream of her parents' return had shaped her into who she was. And now, with humans by her side, she realized that hope was more than waiting. It was action, courage, and determination. The galaxy, vast and mysterious, seemed less frightening now. Lyra had faced dangers, discovered truths, and seen the strength and ingenuity of humans firsthand. She understood that the universe was full of possibilities, and that humans, with their courage and creativity, could change the outcome of even the most impossible situations. One morning, Lyra, her parents, and Jonas stood at the edge of the village looking up at the stars. A new ship, combining Virelian design and human technology, waited to carry them to new adventures. Lyra smiled. "The stars aren't so far away anymore, and we can face anything together." Her parents hugged her, and Jonas gave a small nod of approval. Together, they had turned hope into reality, and the universe felt full of promise. The story of the alien girl, her lost parents, and the human who changed everything spread far beyond Virelia. Humans became known as allies, problem solvers, and beacons of hope. Lyra knew this was only the beginning. Adventures awaited, mysteries beckoned, and the galaxy was ready for those who dared to believe in themselves and in each other. As the ship lifted off into the endless black of space, Lyra felt a thrill she had never known. She was no longer just a girl waiting for her parents. She was an explorer, a hero, and a bridge between worlds. The universe was vast, yes, but she was ready to face it with courage, hope, and humans by her side.